One thing that you'll notice when you first get started on Turo is that there's a lot of competition. So today I'm going to show you my top 5 tips on how to stand out from your competitors. So starting out, tip number 1, take quality images. So one of the most important things when getting started on Turo is to make sure that you appeal to your customers and that you stand out. And one way in doing so is to take some quality pictures. So what I'm showing here is Turo's website on photography, which is a useful resource, and they give you some of their own tips. One of those being take clear photos of your car. So we want to make sure that the picture isn't blurry and it's clear, shown here on the right. Orient it naturally. So don't take any photos upside down or at an angle. Just looks kind of messy. Take a step or 5 back. So you want to make sure that there's enough of the car exposed in the entire frame of the photo. So don't just take a picture of the grille as shown here or the side of the car, because that really doesn't tell the customer a whole lot of what the car looks like from the exterior. Some other ones here, make sure you shoot during the early morning or evening hours. That is the time of day that it actually works in your favor and you don't have a glare coming off of the car, such as you can see here from the night lights. And lastly, never use stock photography. No! If you go on listings and you check in your area for vehicles, it's almost guaranteed that all the photos that are using stock photography, they're not going to be listed. That is a big no-no. So if you're interested, you can actually hire a Turo-approved photographer. And if you go to your city of choice here, so for me, I'm going to check out Houston. There's 3 names here on who I can hire to take verified photos. And this is actually a really good tool and good use of your money. So I'm going to pull up a Polaris slingshot here that's in my area, it's not mine. You get this little banner down here that says verified photo. So that definitely adds to your credibility of the photo. Tip number 2, write up a solid vehicle description. So you're actually taking a look at my listing here, and this is my 2017 Polaris Slingshot SL. I've had this for about 8 months now, and I've been running out actively on Turo, and it's been a good investment so far. So I want to show you my product description, and as you can tell, it is quite lengthy compared to most. However, it provides a lot of information that is useful to a customer. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through this description and tell you why I pieced everything as I did. So first, I give the full vehicle description name. So you'll notice on Turo that depending on your VIN, there's only a select number of actual names you can put in. It doesn't go to your submodel. So if you have a limited edition, such as my Polaris Slingshot here, I want to emphasize that this is a limited edition in that this is a Midnight Cherry, which only a select number of Slingshots actually have. The second paragraph here, I go into actually selling the experience. So you may be aware of Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. And it really goes into detail of selling things to potential customers. And companies such as Apple, they don't necessarily sell the product that they have, but they sell the why, why they're making it, the experience that you'll get from it. So that's why I wanted to focus on my first paragraph when someone reads this, is the experience that you're going to get from it. So if you're looking for an exhilarating shared adventure, this is the Slingshot for you. I go into the different areas in Houston and the unparalleled style that you'll be traveling in. And then I also created an idea of when you're driving the Slingshot that is created for riders to discover the exhilaration and the adventure of the open road in the most luxurious and stylish SL available. So that really sets me apart from other individuals renting out on Turo. Next paragraph, I go into exactly the unique features of this vehicle. So I go into the Midnight Cherry paint color, and that it's a head-turning set of white pearl muscle stripes accented by gray graphics. I put a lot of detail in this paragraph because I really want people to understand that could potentially rent this Slingshot out, that this is the most unique Slingshot on Turo that you can rent. In the next paragraph, I go into just say the laws in Texas on wearing helmets. You probably won't have anything like this unless you are renting out something similar to the Slingshot. And lastly here, there's just some technical specifications. Just to highlight some of the technical specs for people that are interested in, what type of engine does it have, and some unique features saying, it's waterproof, the premium speakers that I put into it. So these are things that you want to include in your description, but you also want to make sure that you don't overload it with unuseful information. My best experience has been selling the experience, firstly, and then moving on to some technical descriptions about your vehicle. Tip number 3, you want to make sure that you price your vehicle competitively. You have two options when pricing your vehicle in Turo. One is automatic pricing, which allows you to set a custom range set, and then based on Turo's algorithm, it will actually bounce back and forth based on the demand that it's seeing. So if I turn this on here, you'll see the range set just popped up. So what Turo is recommending is set the minimum at $96 a day and the maximum at $293 a day. I personally do not use automatic pricing. I think Turo has a long way to come before they actually embed this algorithm as a useful set for us. What I've noticed is that the range is so extensive, such as here, it's going from $96 to $293, that on Mondays and Tuesdays, it will go to the lower end, about $96, and then it goes to the weekend, and it jumps to $293. And what I ended up seeing when I did use this is that all my competitors were getting booked, but I wasn't, because they'd be renting out for about $130 a day, and mine would be renting out at $293, and no one will ever rent that vehicle at that amount. So until Turo, refines their algorithm and comes up with a better solution, I would recommend just using default pricing, which is your second option here. So default pricing allows you to add the value that you believe your vehicle should be rented out on a daily basis. And this will be applied to every day on the calendar. And what I mean by that, so if I put $98 in here as I have, all the days here will pop up as $98. However, you'll notice that these black dots indicate that I've made a change. So you can actually go to the calendar and click days where you think the demand will be higher and increase your price. So for today is actually Valentine's Day, and this weekend on Saturday, and these are the days, Fridays and Saturdays, are when my vehicle is running out the most. So I go in here and edit, and I adjust the pricing. Turo will provide you a recommendation, and so they're recommending $133 a day. And so you can click that and it'll adjust it, or you can keep what you have set. I've had the most luck with this. You also want to make sure that you're looking at the market that you're renting out in. So what I have shown here on the right is the map of Houston that I'm currently renting my slingshot out in, and I've filtered it down to all the other slingshots. So I do this on maybe a weekly to bi-weekly basis, and I check the pricing of my competitors to make sure that I'm still competitive. And so you'll see here for renting out this weekend, I'm showing at $118 a day. So that's a fair price in my mind. And so I look at my competitors, and so I'll see they're renting out for $125, $129, $160 on the higher end, $99 on the lower end, $150, $169, $175. So I am slightly below what they recommend that I price it as well as my competitors, but this allows me to really bring in more customers on a daily basis. And I prefer renting mine out for $20 more less a day than my competitors, and renting it out for maybe 4 or 5 times more a month than they are seeing. Tip number 4, make your car available, yourself available, and offer delivery if you can. What you're seeing here is the trip preferences, and there's a couple sections here that can really boost your bookings. So the first one is book instantly. So you want to make sure that wherever your home location is, where you're primarily renting your vehicle out at, you want to make sure that's checked. That means anyone that's approved through Turo can book your vehicle instantly. Now, if you do not allow them to do that and you leave this unchecked, that means every time someone books, Turo has to send you a request for them to book. And that will limit the amount of bookings that you're going to be seeing. So I'm going to leave this checked. Under the advanced notice, I went into this in some detail in my previous video and how important this actually is. So you want to make sure you pay close attention to this part. Again, what this means is that whenever I'm a customer looking to book your vehicle, this is how much advance notice that I have to give you before I can book your vehicle. So right now I have 12 hours set, and you can reduce this or you can increase this. So if I increase it to 2 days, that means, again, if I want to book your vehicle on a Friday, I have to book it by Wednesday. Now, if I move this to a shorter duration, such as 12 or 6 hours, that means that if I'm a customer and I want to book your vehicle at 8 o'clock that night, I can book it by 2 p.m. and it'll still be valid. Now, this does limit you on renting your vehicle out, but it will increase your sales tremendously. And you can see here there's some tips that Turo provides, that 25% or more trips at home locations are booked on a shorter notice than your current requirement of 6 hours. So if I went down to 1 hour, that's really gonna increase my numbers, but it's just, it's unrealistic for how I have mine set up. So I'm gonna leave it at 6 hours. And trip duration, if you have no issue with someone renting your car out and this is a vehicle that you're using for an investment, I recommend always put it on any for shortest and any for longest. So that means someone can rent it out for an hour, or they could rent it out for even a month. And lastly, on the long-term trips here, make sure you keep this checked. So if there's a customer looking for a long-term trip, your ad will pop up in front of others. Tip number 5, become an all-star host. So if you go to your performance tab, you'll see a bunch of metrics here. And this is really your performance that Turo sees. And so they have a criteria here of what they expect from their all-star host. So they want their response rate of 95%, acceptance rate 90%, and so forth. This is extremely valuable if you want to get more bookings. This really establishes your credibility in Turo. And honestly, if I'm a customer looking to rent your vehicle, I am always going to choose the all-star host over others, because that is proven data that this host meets all the criteria that Turo recommends in their hosts. What you're seeing here is a website for all-star hosts, and this gives you an idea of the perks and benefits that you can receive as an all-star host, as well as how do you become one. So I want to focus on the perks and privileges that are shown here. And the first one here is more visibility. So I'm going to go to the search here in Turo. I'm just going to pick my current location and these range of dates, and I'm going to click search. So as you begin scrolling, you'll eventually start seeing there's a lot of all-star hosts that start popping up at the top. And lo and behold, mine's on the third row down. And I'm not advertising or anything. If you do become an all-star host, you will have more visibility on the searches, and that will only increase the number of bookings that you receive. You also receive priority support, so if you're an all-star host, you'll jump to the top of the queue instead of waiting in line, which is pretty cool. You'll receive a travel credit bonus that you can use to rent out other vehicles on Turo, and this amounts to $100 per calendar year. Lastly, there's extra bookings here. So when Turo assists guests with booking a vehicle on the phone, you'll be one of the first people that they recommend booking the vehicle to. So there you have it. I hope these top 5 tips will allow you to grow your business and get more bookings on Turo. I really think this is the best way of starting out to really set yourself apart in the market, and I think it will only lead to more success for you.